Hello. Hello. As I am just getting my camera set up, please bear with me one moment. I am going to pull this up like this so I can see all of your comments. Welcome to this space. Yes, okay, we have some people here live. Adele, hello, gorgeous woman. Welcome, welcome. I have this new Facebook dashboard for Facebook Lives, and it always throws me, in all honesty. I'm always like a few minutes at the beginning of everything, every session that I do. But here we are. Hello, Nat. Great to see you, beautiful woman. I hope you're well. Hi, Francine. Hi, Lyndall. Lovely to see you too, beautiful women. I'm really, really, really excited for us to be spending this time together today. Um, yeah, so there's been a lot of energy moving for me around this activation that I'm going to be running for you guys, that we are all in together. So just give me a moment to gather my thoughts and to really settle the energy. And potentially you guys have been feeling some of this as well. So I know we have a few people in this group who are new to me and to my work, so I wanted to officially just introduce myself. I know all of you here know me, but we do have some people who are new. So to those of you who are new, hello, my name is Tash. It is awesome to connect with you. Really, really beautiful to meet you in this space. I am a business strategist, I'm an energetic therapist, I'm the CEO and founder of Ashwin Publishing, and I support soulful entrepreneurs to really step into the power and the truth of their soul mission so that they can powerfully affect their transformational work. All of my clients, all of the people that I work with are soulful entrepreneurs, and I'll share a little bit. I know I mentioned this yesterday in the audio that I uploaded, but this is a really important part of my work and of the types of work of the people that I work with. So you are a soulful entrepreneur if you believe the work you do in your business is your soul work. This is a very, very core integral part of the reason why you believe you are here alive on the planet at this very precise moment in history. And if you are facilitating transformational work at this precise point in time, potentially you've spent many, many years, decades, learning and developing your craft and, really in the fire itself, right? Like being forged by the fire so that you can really step out the other end and really claim your place as an expert, claim your place as someone who knows what they're talking about, someone who's really here to facilitate transformation, okay? So if that's you, welcome, you're in the right space. Hello, Tanya, beautiful lady, lovely to see you. Hello, Darlene, awesome to have you here. If that's you and you really align with that, knowing that this is my soul work, this is my soul mission, and it's even more than that, I actually have a movement that I'm here to impart upon the world. I have a mission that I am here to affect. If that's you, please know that this time, what's happening at the moment around the world, the global events that we are witnessing, the inner experiences that is being reflected in the external, this is the most powerful time in history. I wholeheartedly believe that, at least in the last 200 years. And if you're alive doing transformational work and facilitating transformation that has the potential to change the consciousness of the planet, you're in a very special and a very particular place. Because as we continue to evolve throughout this timeline that we are on, and as we actually converge, I really believe that we are converging into the crossroads of two timelines. Hi, Kyla. Welcome, gorgeous. We are at the crossroads of two timelines. And very bluntly, it's the timeline of love and the timeline of fear. So if your work is spiritually given, and if you're soul-led, if you support your clients to transform their inner worlds so that they can transform their outer worlds, then you are a leader of the Great Awakening, whether you see yourself as a leader of the Great Awakening or not. Now, a lot of the people that I work with, the women that I work with, they are what you might say reluctant leaders. Yeah, they're like, You know, I'm just here doing my soul work. I'm here helping people transform their lives. You know, if I could have it my way, I would just kind of sit back and work with my people and, you know, not necessarily feel like I need to claim a lot of space and be seen on the global stage and all of that. However, especially if you're transitioning into the online space, there is a point that you come to where you realize that just sitting back, hiding in the shadows, in the comfortable zone with your clients that maybe you've been working with for a long time, is not the game that you want to play any longer. Okay, and that's a point that I got to about 5 years ago, when I had a little baby, my firstborn, who was about 9-10 months old, and I was really trying to figure out how I could do my work in a way that would allow me to have the impact that I really wanted to have, and that allowed me to also be present with my child, right? And be present at home. And it's this real merging of experiences that I felt at that point in time, where I realized that I could transition my work, which was traditionally in a clinic, in person, I could transition it online. And as soon as I made that decision to transition online, I was invited to play a bigger game, as we all are, right? Because whenever we decide to work in the online space, we are invited to take things up a notch. Suddenly, it's not just you in your local town with your word of mouth and your referral list. It's you out there, putting yourself out there in front of everyone, marketing your business, claiming the power of your voice, claiming your expertise, donning your hat as an expert in your field. So if that's you, please know that this is, you're in the right space, and this is where I feel all of us have actually come from. My work involves these days supporting my clients to really step into their next level leadership, so that they can, you know, do the inner work required to be comfortable in that bigger scale of visibility, putting themselves out there, sharing their amazing content so that they can effectively deliver the transformation that they're here to impart upon the world. Now that's like the inner sphere, right? Or like the 1 degree that we're working with. But we also have the external, right? The global stage, the things that are happening, that we are seeing transpiring, that we have been seeing transpiring for a long time, but that have really started to build up with a crescendo. And you might be starting to feel that. I get goosebumps as I talk about it, because the energy is building. Now, whatever your beliefs are about what's happening, about the truth of where the virus has come from, the truth of where the governments are headed collectively in lockstep together, I believe that the energetics of coronavirus are very, very powerful. Why? Because it is forcing people to see the truth of what is really going on behind the curtains. And as I'm speaking to you, I'm reminded of a quote, which I wonder if I could pull it up on my, look, I'll put it in here when we finish. But in reality, we all understand, I believe we all truly at our core understand the magnitude of what is happening. The curtains are being pulled back. We are suddenly starting to see the theater that has been played around us. And that is incredibly powerful, okay? Because we are in a process of mass awakening. We are in the fire right now. And the truth of the matter is that you are needed more than ever before to support and stabilize your community as they begin to realize the truth of what has been going on. My instincts and intuition is telling me that when that happens, when the masses start to wake up, it's going to be a very, very uncomfortable period of time for many, many people. So you doing the work that you've done, learning the tools that you've learned, practicing your craft with your clients, doing the inner work that has you, even if it might not feel comfortable, that has you confidently show up in a bigger way, so that people who are scrambling in the dark can see you and find you. You are the lighthouse for them. And if we use this analogy of being the lighthouse, all we really need to do is turn our light up, increase our magnetism, increase the potency of our words, step into our polarizing message, and have the fucking courage to say the things that we know we need to say to attract our soul clients. When we really recognize that client attraction and business strategy is all energetics, and it all comes back to you standing in your truth, I would say 80% energetics, 20% strategy, actually. It's not all energetics, because we still need to be standing and speaking and being seen, right? The strategy is very important, but the strategy is only as powerful as the energetic frameworks and foundations that contain it. So the reason why I've called this Walking Through Fire an activation portal is because we're going to be going on a bit of a journey today into the fire. We are in the fire right now. We've actually been in the fire for the last couple of years, and you may feel weary, right? It's like, how long can a cake stay in the oven before it starts to become burnt? These energetic practices that we have all developed and will continue to develop as we go throughout our experience here on Earth in a human body are essential to ensuring that we stay in what I call the eye of the storm, right? So that no matter what's happening around us, we are in our space of energetic purity. As I said in the audio that I recorded for you all and uploaded yesterday, an old mentor of mine told me once that you have to kill your human. Your human will simply sabotage your soul's journey and your soul's development, your soul's growth. And that was a huge thing for me to hear, because it was so radical. I really took that on for quite a long time, right? And I started to look at my lower stuff that always came up whenever I was coming to a new level as being bad and wrong, and as being a hindrance, and as being something that I had to like slice away and reject from me, from my body. It wasn't until I actually birthed my second child at the beginning of this year, in a very, 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 very powerful home birth experience, that I realized the power of the body. Like, I really got it. I had understood it, but for me, this was like an embodiment. Holy fuck. That experience, like, I remember just being completely floored by the intensity of power that came through my body to expel this child, right? And it was then that that was an incredibly healing experience for me, and it healed in many, many, many ways. My relationship with my human, my relationship with my body, my relationship with my fear, my relationship with my lower self. And I was able to actually take my spiritual gifts to a much more powerful level, because I had up until that point rejected my body and rejected my human. It is crazy stuff. People out there are teaching this, right? And I took it on. I take full responsibility. I took on that belief. So what I've come to understand is that as a soul, we are here to have a human experience. We are here to feel the full range of human emotions. We are here to learn how to dance between our soul's understanding and our soul's perspective and our soul's guidance and our human, very human emotion, our human experience, our human fear and suffering and intensity, right? In the channelings that I've done recently, I've tapped into a number of different entities who have come through to say, Earth is the most intense playground in the universe right now. It is the most intense place known because of what we're dealing with right here, right now. And if you are a light worker, someone who is here to initiate transformation, a leader of the Great Awakening, you made a very conscious decision to come at this precise point in time, to incarnate into the family that you have been birthed into, And your life's experiences have been guiding you to do the work that you do now with your people. And when we are in times such as this, where we are literally walking through the fire and trying to build a business, trying to raise a family, supporting our partner, keeping our body healthy, continuing our spiritual practices, which is everything, of course, there can be times when we really feel the intensity. So I would love to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how in the fire do you feel you are right now? With 10 being, I'm burning. I am burning in the fire. I'm red hot. Like life is so intense. And 0 or 1 being, I am in the eye of the storm. I am creating calm in the chaos. I have perspective. Let me know in the comments, because I'd love to gauge. And if you're watching the replay, of course, please let me know. Comment along as we go through. In order to really learn how to navigate and how to take our, dancing through chaos, right? And I use this expression of dancing through chaos energy, because this is what it is. It's a dance. 9, 3. Okay. In order to really take our capacity to dance and move and be agile as we transcend through these times, we have to be in our bodies and at the same time have the perspective of our higher self, our soul self at the same time, right? So for me, one of the most powerful tools that I have is using my body as a barometer. My body will always tell me the things that my mind might try and deny or might try and suppress. And that's why I love this expression, dancing through chaos. Because when I really imagine it, it's like it's a dance. Chaos energy is I believe chaos energy is the building blocks of the universe, right? Chaos energy is what makes up life itself. It is random. It is chaotic. But of course, within the randomness, there is order. Within the uncertainty, there is certainty, right? So when we can really come into this space where we have transcended through fear into the eye of the storm, into the eye of chaos, and we allow it to actually permeate through our body and channel it through into our endeavors, into our creative practices, into our healing work with our clients, into our marketing and sales, into everything, into our relationship with our children and our partner, into everything that we do, the body becomes the barometer through which chaos energy moves and is transmitted. In order to get to that space where we are comfortable in the fire, where we're comfortable dancing through chaos, we need to work through the very human lower emotions of fear, okay? Now, potentially nearly 3 years into this experience, this kind of chapter here, you might have done a lot of work with uncertainty and a lot of work with fear. But I want to take you first of all through a process that's going to support you to get to an even deeper space with your relationship with fear and uncertainty and chaos energy. The big thing that I have understood about chaos energy is that when things are chaotic in our life and we feel completely caught up in the chaos and we're untethered, right? We've lost our connection to our groundedness, where typically the energy floods up into our head, right? That's what happens. We energetically disconnect from the lower chakras and the energy moves up into our upper chakras, where we can exist very much in panic mode. We can exist in anxiety, in ruminating, overthinking, really like energy caught up in our head, right? Because the groundedness has flood from the lower chakras. So working through the energies of the lower chakras, the fears that live in the lower chakras, the stories and the traumas that can block us at the lower chakras is really important. And the first place that I always begin is with fear, because fear is the nervous system's response to our environment. Yes, yet I have been in the storm before. I'm in a huge transition, and so I need to dance now. Absolutely. So the emotion that will always be in the way of really dancing with the uncertainty and the chaos of life is always fear, right? Because we typically are afraid of the things that we don't know and that we don't understand. We all understand the only certainty in life is change, right? Is uncertainty. That is the only certainty. Maybe the other certainty being that one day we're all going to die. That's kind of like the only certainties in life, right? Everything is in motion. Everything is always changing. And we are, at one point, we're going to die. That's the life cycle, yeah? What's happening around the world at the moment is this inherent fear of death, fear of destruction, fear of uncertainty, and fear of change. And that is always what will be the block between really becoming energetically agile in our responsiveness to chaos energy. When we have really worked through the fears around being in the fire, like really being in the fire and being okay with being in the fire, only then are we able to have the body be the barometer or be the transmitter through which chaos energy can flow, right? So I wanted to take you through a really powerful process to begin with that is going to support you to understand how you are transmitting fear at the moment and how fear is really working in your body and how fear is potentially blocking you from standing and being in your chaos energy and allowing that fire to forge you rather than distracting or trying to fix it or trying to override it or overrule it, simply allowing yourself to actually be in the fire of life, in the fire of the global events, in the fire in your relationship or with your children or in your body, right? So fear is a primal voice. It is a voice that, or an emotion that is very connected with the root chakra, right? With the nervous system. And the thing with fear is that we need it. Yeah, we really need to have some element of fear because fear is what keeps us safe. Fear is how we, respond to our environment and understand, do I need to run because I'm being chased by the tiger that's trying to eat me? Or can I be still and stable and present in my environment? Fear is what really guides our nervous system's response to our survival. But it's when fear becomes overwhelming, overruling, when fear dictates our experience, when we allow ourselves to be ruled by fear, that's when we're really stagnating that flow of chaos energy, right? Because we're afraid of it. At every new level in your soul works development, you will come up against a new level of fear, a new level of uncertainty. You'll be pushed to do something that is pushing you again outside of your comfort zone. And so that fear might be, oh my God, I'm about to publish a book. Like I know a number of you here are about to publish with me in 3 weeks. Shit! I'm sharing some fucking wild stuff with the world that I've never shared before. Oh my God. Or it might be I'm being called to talk about things that are controversial, but my soul mission is telling me that this is essential, right? This is an essential next step for me to take. Or it might be I'm being guided to do something like end a relationship or, do something really initiate a life-changing transition and I'm terrified. Or it might be all of my people around me are believing one thing that I disagree with and I'm trying to convince or trying to talk them out of it or, I'm trying to change their mind, right? Not that we should ever really be changing people's minds, but you get the point. And so really, my point is that every new level that we go to, and if you are in soulful business, your business and your soul mission are in collaboration, right? It is your business that is reflecting back to you what your next levels are going to be. We have other things like family and children and as well, but right here, this is your business, right? Your business is is an incredibly sacred entity, an incredibly sacred relationship. And the reason you're passionate about the work that you do is because you see that it can change the world, that your work has the potential to change lives. It has the potential to, change the trajectory of the planet, right? If we really think about the ripple effect that transformational work has. But also, you're passionate about it because at the same time as facilitating transformation within your clients, you're facilitating transformation within yourself as well. And the work that we do as coaches, as therapists, as space holders, as healers, as activators, it will also often bring up stuff within us, right? And this is our medicine. So my advice always is to notice your own process, to notice the journey that your work is inviting you to go on simultaneously, and to share it with the world, to share it in your content, to share it with your clients, to share it with your community, because this is what makes us real. So recognizing that shifting fear is a process, and we can release it and step through the fear into action. And there's many different energetic processes that we can do that can support us to do that. And today I'm going to share with you a tapping process before we really go to the next level in this activation, because my experience is that if we don't work through the things that are holding us back from achieving the goal or stepping into that higher space, it's like we do all the work on the external thing without doing the work on the inner. Okay, and it always is an inside out experience. So let's all take a breath. And I want you just to close your eyes for a minute as I just talk to you, and just allow me to transmit these codes to you and to allow yourself to receive them. And here's the thing about fear. We have this filing cabinet of evidence inside of us. We have proof of all the times we weren't good enough, of all the times things didn't work. And fears can be real, right? They can be perceived as real. And there's two ways of looking at fear. There's the beliefs that we have that are very present in our head, and there's proof of the times in the past when we tried something and it didn't work, or when we tried something and something happened, when we were traumatized. And we have to find a way to counteract this huge amount of internal evidence that we have. Because whenever we're in the fire, dancing between the inner flames and the outer flames, whenever we're in the fire, it's always going to be activating our old stuff. We have to find a way to counteract this evidence. And this has to be a process. So I want to ask you, what's your intention? What's your commitment as we walk through the fire and take our soul work to a higher level or a deeper level? As we support, as we really step into our role as a leader of the Great Awakening. What's your intention? What's your intention as we look at fear? You might decide maybe fear is not a big deal for you right now, and that's okay. That's amazing. But if there is still residual fears and residual things that you want to shift, if you have a mission to change the world or to change yourself, in this moment I want you to decide what you're willing to do. How far down the rabbit hole will you go? So first of all, let's just tune in to the inner space and notice, where does fear live in your body? And I want you to think about what's happening on the global stage. I want you to think about your role in activating the Great Awakening. Think about something that makes you feel nervous and afraid or trepidatious. where does it show up in your body? And really come into your body, into the body's wisdom. Where does this fear live in you? What are the sensations? So for me, I get a real tensing of my shoulders and a nervousness in the pit of my belly. And I'll often clench my jaw. And I'll be really aware of the tightness in my neck. And it's like an anticipation feeling starts to transmit into my hands and my feet. And if I'm really thinking about it from a physiological perspective, it's like my heartbeat speeds up, my breathing speeds up, and I'm like preparing myself to move. And I can actually feel that in my body. It's like the adrenaline starts to turn up, and I could be running for my life if I needed to. But how often are we actually in physiological danger when fear arises? And I want you to begin with your eyes closed to give form to fear. If you're able to visualize a particular type of fear, what does it look like? And if you can't visualize very well, that's okay. What does it feel like? What do you sense? Is it a blob or a darkness? Does it have a face? Does it remind you of somebody? Maybe it's an archetype or a person from a movie or a story. How does fear show up for you right now in this moment in time? And I want you to begin to really give form to it. So we're really breathing into our fear here. And it might be fear of death. It might be fear of destruction of all that you thought that you knew. It might be fear of totalitarianism or the change in the changing environment, in the landscape that we are involved in. It might be the fear of actually really dropping into your soul mission and actually like really taking things to that next level. And before we get into some tapping, I want you to see if you can give your fear some space. So use your breath and your intention just to create a little bit of space. If it's in your throat, just intentionally just creating some space there, or in your core, breathing into it and opening. And so if you saw darkness, maybe you can bring in a little bit of light. If there was coldness, maybe you can use your breath to warm it up, or even use your hands. So whenever I tune into this, for me, my shoulders, rubbing really to create some heat, and then placing it in the area that you feel coldness or restriction. Use your mind or your intention or your breath. And this isn't about getting rid of it. This is about giving it space, noticing it, giving it awareness. And just tuning, noticing. If you could name your fear, what would you call it? Does it have a name? I often like to personify my emotions. So fear, fearful Francesca. And when I actually give my fear a name and persona, it's like I breathe some life into her ability to communicate with me, into her ability to tell me what she's afraid of. And it's often not what I think it is. And so I want you to begin to see if you can become friends with your fear. This is about shifting your relationship with it. Not to get rid of it, not to destroy it. fear is an incredibly important part of you. Can you change your relationship with it? Because it came online for you when you were very, very, very young. And its main biological role is to keep you safe. And all of these different parts of you are there to keep you safe. So just staying in that space with your eyes closed, and think about a young child, or maybe think about you when you're small, or what you know of small children. And I want you to think about how fear can keep a child safe. If you're a mother and you have children, think about how fear has kept your children safe. It's not always a bad thing. In fact, it can be a very good thing. The problem is that often fear gets a little stuck, and it doesn't mature with us as we grow. And now if you think about fear from the standpoint and perspective of trauma, there's a spectrum of trauma. You might know where you are on that on the spectrum for yourself. And then there are horrible, horrible things that happen to people and that have happened to children. And then there's the other things, I like to call them the big T and the little t traumas. But I want you to just see how in a time in the past, fear came to help you. How fear kept you hidden. How it kept you silent. How it kept you quiet when it was helpful that you stayed quiet or stayed hidden or stayed silent. Maybe you had an incredibly blessed childhood and you feel like you don't have any big T traumas. Maybe that's something you judge yourself for. Like, nothing happened to me that was terrible, so why do I have this fear response? Just notice it. Because fear's job is to keep you safe and to feel fear. And I want you to really say to yourself, I want to have a new relationship with fear. I want to have a new relationship with you. Can you shift your relationship with it? Because as we transcend into the next layers, into the next years, your relationship with fear is going to become very important. I feel this very intuitively. And your ability to dance with your fear, and to dance with chaos energy, and to dance with the fire, dance with uncertainty, invite it in, pull it onto the dance floor. There's nothing to be afraid of. And that beautiful quote, it's often overused, the only thing to fear is fear itself. So I invite you to feel in once again to the fear in your body. Did you personify it? How does it look now? And we're going to do a little bit of tapping to move the energy through our bodies. And if you haven't done tapping before, it's a very powerful process of activating acupoints, tapping on them, and speaking at the same time. It might look a little strange at first, but it's very, very powerful. I use it a lot to shift energy, to move energy. So I invite you to open your eyes. I'm going to say a line, and then you repeat the line after me at the same time as we tap through the points. And we're going to be voicing the fears, okay? Voicing what's there rather than trying to avoid it or not to look at it or trying to kind of create a positive picture over here. We know that anytime we do that psychologically, we're just simply shutting off things into our shadow. I see the shadow as like this big closet in my psyche, in my unconscious, that sometimes is like brimming with shit that I don't want to face. And every time I shove something into the closet that is my shadow, it pops up in another way. It pops up when I least expect it. And often it doesn't pop up, it fucking roars up. I've had to do a lot of work on my shadow personally because I have been a classic suppressor, someone who suppressed a lot of stuff. And everyone would always be like, you're just so cool, calm and collected. Like, do you actually ever deal with anything? Like, does life, are you actually ever in any kind of difficult situation? Because I'd just be cruising along, but inside, that led to an autoimmune disease. I do not recommend it. Opening up your eyes, and let's begin. Taking in a big deep breath and letting it out. And we're going to tap through the points, and we're going to tap through some words. There's part of me, and you repeat after me. There's part of me that feels afraid, that feels uncertain, that doesn't like being in the fire, that would prefer things to be really cruisy, that might want to go back to how things were, back to a time in the past when everything was tranquil. There's part of me that feels like I can't do it, whatever it is that's next for me. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to do it. And I might have a lot of proof. I've screwed things up in the past. I've taken lots of courses. Maybe I haven't implemented them. I've thought lots of thoughts. Maybe part of me is afraid I won't be able to do it. Won't be able to hack it. Won't be able to survive. And there's been many times when I've dreamt big dreams, when I've started out and messed it up and let fear run the show. And what if these old patterns continue? When I think about really showing up, being seen on a bigger level, speaking more potently, and putting myself in the fire, part of me is terrified. Do I have what it takes? What if I'm not good enough? Not worthy of this big mission that I've been called to? What if I put in all this work and it doesn't happen? My big dreams and goals, my big mission and vision doesn't actually happen. What if I feel like I fail? What if I speak up about important matters and realize I can't handle the backlash? What would happen then? All these things that I'm afraid of. Maybe it's fear itself, that I'll sabotage myself, that I'll take up patterns that aren't good for me again. Maybe I'll start putting things off. I'll start retreating back into my cave. And then I'll have more proof that I can't do it, that I can't handle it, that I can't create in the fire. I'm just going to honor all of this, my whole story. Honor that wherever I am on the spectrum of trauma, fear can show up. And this is my story, and how I respond to every level of fear is my journey. And I'm going to honor my story, my journey. I'm going to honor this ancient part of me that's hardwired into my genetics. This fear response that keeps me safe, but that might be turned up a little too strong. And I want to honor my fear. and all the times that fear protected me. Thank you, fear. Thank you for the job that you did. You did an extraordinarily good job. Thank you for all the times you kept me safe. All the ways I could have hurt myself. All the times you kept me safe. And I'm calling in compassion for both of us. You've helped me when I had nowhere else to turn. And I want to honor that. Bringing in gratitude to this fear response. And shifting my relationship with my fear. Becoming agile with these lower emotions, inviting them in so that I can truly dance with uncertainty. Dance with chaos. So that I can be in the fire, inside the eye of the fire, and continue to transform my clients' lives. Okay. Taking in a breath. I'd love you just to tune in one more time. Tuning into your body and noticing how it feels now. And I want you to shift your perspective now. So we're not looking in, we're looking out. We're looking out at the global stage and really coming to this perspective of your higher self. So opening up the crown chakra like it's a trapdoor, imagining that trapdoor creaking all the way open, energetically activating at the higher chakras and beginning to send your awareness all the way up. I always imagine it as up into the higher self, up into the higher realms, up into the spaciousness that is the universal potentiality. And I want you to set the intention to connect in with your higher self or your soul self. And if you can imagine your human is all the way down in the chair, processing, feeling all of the things that she's feeling. And you now, your consciousness is in the seat of the soul, the seat of the higher self. And I want you to imagine or visualize or sense that you are surrounded, or simply know, that in this space you have an entire team of entities, of energies, of ancestors, of star beings, of souls that are surrounding you 24/7. This is your backup crew. This is your support team. I invite you to really become present to the sensations of being supported in ways that you have never even begun to imagine. When we are in our human, it can become very easy to feel like we are alone in the journey. That it's just us and maybe the other people that are in our network. And our human self can often become flawed with these feelings of aloneness and loneliness. And all it takes is a shift in perspective, a shift in centering your awareness, to recognize that your team are around you 24/7, and especially you as a leader of the Great Awakening. And so I invite you to set the intention for one of your team members to step forward right now. You might feel them like I feel, like a flood of goosebumps down my left-hand side of my body. You might feel, you might see, you might understand or sense an entity, a team member, a higher self, a spirit guide, a star family representative. Step forward right now. And I want you to allow them to share with you some wisdom. How are you here to support me? I want you to ask them that question. As I walk through the fire, how are you here to support me? What is my role in facilitating the Great Awakening? And this is a really important question. And whatever answer you receive, I invite you to declare it publicly in your content. So you might like to actually come back to this question and do some channeling, automatic writing, connecting in with your representative who stepped forward, whoever that entity or person or energy is. And really like bringing that into your heart, like imagining that shoots all the way down through your channel, through the crown, through the third eye, through the voice, all the way into your heart. What is my role in the Great Awakening? Embody whatever it is that you receive right now. Imagining the answer that you received to that question to really anchor itself into your body, into your solar plexus, into your sacral, like feeling it in your womb, feeling it in the base, feeling it in your loins, feeling it in your feet, connecting all the way down to the earth. This beautiful channel of energy, this beautiful current that is activated with your intention. And you as the incredible human, the soul having a human experience, your body becomes the barometer through which you channel this energy, through which you dance through chaos, through which you transmit the powerful, life-changing work that you are here to facilitate. And I invite you to activate the body right now, like turn it up, turn up your responsiveness, turn up, like open up your cells. Every single cell opens and expands like a sunflower as the sun rises. As your body begins to transmit the information that you need to know right now, as we are at a crossroads of fucking timelines, as we are invited to take our work and to speak about things and to take our work to the next level and to really step into our power in ways that we thought we couldn't do, that we didn't even know that we could do. The body is what guides you here. So feeling that, anchoring that in, and beginning to have two perspectives at the same time. The human perspective, complete with the inner child, the fears, the uncertainties, the hopes and the dreams of the human, and the higher self, the soul self, complete with the wisdom of her team, its team, complete with the understanding of lifetimes of knowledge, with the understanding of ancestors, star beings, universal wisdom. We have both perspectives at the same time. And sometimes we oscillate. Sometimes we spin in the lower self and we forget that we have the higher perspective. Sometimes we disconnect from the lower self and we have just the higher perspective, and that's not necessarily a good thing either. We are really creating the space, the channel between the higher self or the soul and the wisdom that surrounds her. The energetic ways in which she receives as the human her guidance, so that she can be the vessel for her soul mission. This beautiful dance between the higher self, the lower self. The beautiful dance as we respond to our environment, as we begin to create space from our fear, and as we begin to step into the higher or deeper levels of work that we're here to do, to facilitate. So just coming back to the body, and you might want to place a hand on your heart and a hand on your womb. And I want you to repeat after me. I am a leader of the Great Awakening. I have a responsibility to serve the planet. I have a duty to use my voice. The more I shine my light intentionally and purposefully, the more my people will find me. I can dance through chaos. I am the eye of the storm. And the more I step into the truth of my soul mission, the more I am divinely supported. As we walk through fire collectively, that's what we are doing, right? We are in the fire. It's an incredibly powerful time to be alive, to be doing the work that we do, to be facilitating transformation. Please do not forget that you, as much as it might feel like reluctantly, you are a leader. Your people are looking to you to be guided. This is about you really stepping into the next level of your soul mission, of your development here in this playground, this intense place, this beautiful place, this powerful place. You're being forged by the fire itself right now. And remaining with those two states of awareness, being in the body, is how we become the eye of the storm. And you know, maybe it's because I've been watching a show about ninjas. But I kind of feel it like that. Like, you know, you think about how the ninjas or how the martial artists, how they respond to their partner, you know, when they are fighting. It is like that, right? We are literally dancing through chaos, responding to chaos energy all the time. How do we find the path of least resistance so that we can truly be guided and not be in resistance, not be in deflection of what is being offered to us. That is my question for you. So, as we come to and close the portal, I hope you're feeling activated. I hope you're feeling ready to truly take your work to the next level, to truly step into the fire with your clients, with your family, with your community, and to actively seek to share your work with the world. As I've mentioned, this session will be available for 48 hours before it then becomes the first activation in my brand new leadership program called Sacred Fire Initiation. If you aligned with this, if you feel activated by this, and if you would love to step into the initiation process with me over the next 6 weeks, I would love to invite you to let me know. Let me know so that I can share with you more information. I believe this work is the most important work that we can do right now. How do we stoke our inner fire? How do we allow that fire to roar throughout our body, out through our voice, out through our limbs, right? How do we allow our body to become the vessel for us to channel chaos energy, for us to channel our soul purpose, for us to really rise to our next level? That's what we're going to be discovering in Sacred Fire Initiation. I would love to speak with you if you would like to know more. Please let me know in the comments how you're feeling and what arises for you over the next few days as you allow this activation to integrate. Please be aware of drinking lots of water. And if you feel inspired, I invite you to sit down and to do some journaling, do some vocal channeling, whatever it is you feel you need to do to get the inspiration out of your body and into reality, right? I love to journal after powerful activations because it's when I feel my creative centers are wide open, my channel is wide open, and I'm really able to transmit the next level content, the next level messages that I have been guided to transmit. Thank you for being here with me. It's been an honor. And yeah, I feel like that's complete. Mwah! Take care, everyone, and I will speak with you very soon.